Loss comes in many forms, and usually in unexpected ways. It can be devastating, leaving you facing an uphill struggle to go on with life without someone you thought would always be there. But life does go on, and even in the deepest despair, we can find hope. Welcome to Grief Relief with your hosts, Drs. Gloria and Heidi Horsley, brought to you by the Open to Hope Foundation, helping people find hope after loss. And now here's Dr. Gloria and Dr. Heidi.
Welcome to our show. I'm Dr. Gloria Horsley, and my co-host, Dr. Heidi Horsley, is not with me today because she had a medical emergency, but a family member was ill. But what I wanted to tell you was that we live in separate coasts. We're bi-coastal mother-daughter team. Heidi lives in New York City, Manhattan, and I live in California. And due to public access, we're able to get together and to do these shows together. And these shows are for you, and these shows are about the transformational power of grief and loss. And sometimes I get a little bit unnerved because I had a child die many years ago, and when people say to me, you never get over it, I like to say, you do get over it. In a way, you transform it, and it becomes a new and wonderful journey for you, because in this journey, you meet new friends, new people, and people that you never thought you would connect with in your life. And so today we're going to talk about friends in grief, and about those friends that you've lost, and about those new friends in your life. And one of the most fabulous new friends that I have in my life is Dr. Darcy Sims. And Darcy's going to co-host this show today with me. And Darcy is an international speaker on grief and loss. She's an author. She has a company called Grief Incorporated. I mean, she is the Renaissance wonderful woman of grief. Many years ago, had a son, Big A, die of a brain tumor, and she's been able to transform this and literally inspire the world. So Darcy, I want to welcome you to the show today.
Thank you, Gloria. I'm sorry I'm not Heidi. I know you miss her, but I've transformed into Heidi today. What an honor to be with you, and what fun to be talking about friends.
Absolutely. Well, I know we've talked about this, the fact that we had all sorts of friends in our life that we had as couples and growing up and all that, and they were there and we were living our life, and suddenly we got that call that we had lost a child. And at that moment, our friends came and they kind of were with us in a way, but what happened to you after the funeral? Many of those friends disappeared.
They did. They came to the funeral, they brought a casserole, and Big A died a long time ago, so the casseroles came in Pyrex dishes with a little masking tape with their name on the bottom, so you knew who to return it to. But now the casseroles come in tinfoil dishes to be thrown away, never to see those friends again.
Ah, what a great point, that we don't even have the casserole dishes to
Not
to
even the dishes
anymore.
anymore.
Absolutely. Well, we've got a couple of friends that are going to be on the show today that you and I have both come to know through our experiences with the Compassionate Friends. I think that's probably where you met them both too, Denise and Alan Peterson.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
you know, some friends leave our lives and brand new ones walk in the door.
Absolutely. So our first guest is Denise Peterson, and married to Alan Peterson, our good friend. And Denise, well, let's hear your story. Denise, welcome to our show, friend, a new friend that's come into our life.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
My story is my son Sean was 21 when he got in a car accident, and he was missing for 9 days. And my friends just rallied around to support me to help find him, and we searched and searched. And once we did find him, the friends were still there to prepare for the funeral and all that. But then I noticed shortly after that the friends were slowly disappearing, and I think the reason is my pain was just too much for them to handle.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And also, I always think that feeling, it's a little scary. You know, this could happen to me if I'm around people that this has happened to.
Yeah, it's contagious.
Yeah.
It is. People are so afraid that death and grief are contagious. And I suppose they are, but at a time when we need those friends so badly, they're out the door.
Right.
Well, talk about how you transformed your grief. I mean, you even started a mother's group. How long did you wait to do that? I mean, you could look for your own new friends and support.
I did. I actually went to a grief support group the night after my son's funeral, and I was turned away at the door.
What?
And
What?
Yeah.
Turned away at the door?
At the
I was
door?
turned away at the door. They said the group had already bonded, and I was not welcome. So I thought, what am I going to do? I'm going to die of a broken heart. So I thought, I'm going to go find other moms that have lost a child, and I figured I'm very stubborn. So I figured if they can do it, I can do it. We can all do this together. So I started Sean Sullivan Project within the first week after the funeral.
Oh my
and I made
Wow.
a lot of great supportive friends that have been with me through the last 8.5 years.
So when one circle of friends kind of closed the door, and then a new circle of maybe friends didn't even open the door for you,
Right.
you created your own
Right,
circle.
I did.
Awesome.
I
And
did.
going on to do that, I mean, you are now running the Bereaved Parents Gathering
Yes.
this summer in Sacramento, California,
Right.
right? And that'll be a big gathering from all over the United
yeah.
States of bereaved parents. Fabulous. What date is that for people?
It's July 26th through the 28th in Sacramento, and I have great speakers. Darcy's going to be a speaker, and you're going to come, and Heidi,
Right.
and great lineup of speakers
and I hope
workshop
that
presenters.
you'll tell everybody about it and you'll all come out to this too.
Yeah.
So tell us about what you've been doing with your husband, Alan, and he became a new friend to you.
Yeah, he became my friend.
And how many years ago was this?
We met about 4 years ago doing the work that we both do. He was actually doing an event in the Bay Area here, and I live in Sacramento. And I came out just to meet him, and we became really, really good friends. And he talked me into getting married and going on the road. So here we are.
That's a really good friend.
Yeah,
He became a very good friend.
I'd say so.
I like him.
Oh, we hope so.
So I like the idea that you're friends first. What do you think it is about bereaved people that brings them together as friends? I mean, what always fascinates me is we come together and we don't even know, as the world looks at it, we know nothing about each other,
Right,
but we know everything.
right,
Everything is important because we know our heart.
right.
And we know their heart, and it's kind of an amazing. I don't
I
know.
think we
there's
get to
an
take our
energy.
mask off. We don't have to hide the pain. We know, although every grief experience is different, the pain is the same, I believe. And so we kind of bond on that level.
We get intimate very, very quickly.
right.
Most new people, when they first meet, talk about the weather or
Right.
the news. And all of a sudden, we're talking about someone we love dying.
Right.
And the rest of the world doesn't want to hear it. And yet there's a comfort in, you can just see you relaxing in the eyes, and you're going, okay, I got a new friend here.
Right.
Well, let's see one of our new friends, Alan Peterson. Denise's
All right,
the other Alan. Welcome to the show. So exciting to have you on.
Oh, I'm glad to be here. Bless you. Hi, honey.
Say hi, honey, to me.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
See, with friends, we share a lot, don't we?
We do. We do.
Oh, well, Alan, you know, I love everything that you're doing, and we're going to be talking about it. You're a singer-songwriter. You have been for years. You've done Nashville. And now the sad death of your wonderful daughter has brought you your talents and everything you have to another world to benefit a huge number of people in a world I'm sure you never thought in your wildest dreams that
No,
you
I-
would be performing in.
I think back, if you would have told me, 12 years ago that today I would be playing music all over the country, which Ashley, my daughter, would be proud of, I would have said you're nuts. And if you would have said I was going to play for, grief support groups and people going through that same loss that I was going through, I wouldn't have believed it. My daughter Ashley was killed in an automobile accident, as you know, in August of 2001. And when I think back about it, that is the day that life as I knew it ended, and life as I now know it began. And
And what about your friends? That guy. What happened with these guy friends?
well, the one thing with guys, I don't love stereotyping, but you can
But
pretty
let's do
much
something.
stereotype us. But let's do it anyway.
Let's go for it.
You're
Not a
the only
hatchet.
guy on the set. Come on.
I don't want to do a hatchet job on my friends because God bless them, this was just a ride they couldn't get on. This was a roller coaster that went upside down and spun all different directions, and they just couldn't do it, and they tried. I was very fortunate that I got to be around good grief information early on. And I just kind of took the viewpoint that I was going to be Ashley's dad for as long as I live, not for as long as she lived.
Yeah.
And I instinctively knew I had to have people around me who would honor that. And that's how I've lived my life from the get-go. And I'm glad somebody told me that. that I didn't, that I didn't have to stop being Ashley's dad. And so many of my friends faded away, but so many new people came in. That's I think, including my best friend right here.
Yeah.
That's what's amazing about
Now
it.
tell us about what you're doing. You got this band. It's called Angels Across the USA. You're driving around. Talk about that.
Imagine a couple of old hippies out on the road in an old van that's painted lots of colors. That's us. Now, what we decided to do is to put our ministries together. I play music and speak, and we go to 100 plus cities a year, and we play for grief groups, grief organizations, regardless of their size, large or small, or where they're located in the United States, and whether they have a dime or not to pay us. And this is our 4th year of doing it together. We will be in over 400 cities. So this is our final year that we're going to tour like that, but it has been a blessing. So many new friends. And it's been a ministry and a way to honor Sean and Ashley that we never could have dreamed. And it's been a wonderful ride. And
Now,
so,
Ashley and Sean, I know our audience is going to want to know how old were they?
21,
Sean was 21 and Ashley was 18.
Ashley was 18. And
All right.
both of them in auto accidents. And so
And they both would be 30 this year, so it's
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah. Are you doing any special Angels Across the USA thing for them on their 30?
that's what we talked about. We're going to be home for Sean's 30th birthday, which is coming up this month. And in May, I'm going to play and speak on Ashley's birthday. I've tried everything on those nights, staying home, running away, we do
Yeah.
those things. But I'm going to play an event on her birthday.
Okay, we're going to see a little roll-in of your van and all that kind of thing.
Absolutely.
And towards the end of it, you're in Newtown
Yes.
when you see that street sign. I can't remember what the name of the
Yeah.
street sign is,
Yeah.
but
Johnny
you
Cake.
Cup
Johnny
Johnny
Cake.
Cake.
Johnny Cake. When you see Johnny Cake, they're in Newtown, and you're also my son's. He's got his name on the van and Big A.
Big A's
So
on
we've
the
got
van.
our Open to Hope Foundation, so you can look for all that on the roll-in. So let's take a look.
So we're going to look for 2 old hippies in a van, huh? Okay,
Here we
let's
go.
find them.
It's a voice that gently whispers, like the calming of the sea, reminding us we're not alone, no matter how dark it might be.
It's a compass for the journey down a road we've never been. A starlit sky, a butterfly. It's the reason why we smile again.
Love lives on, it never dies. It's in our heart, it's in our eyes. A forever flame, it's never gone. Memories remain, and love lives on.
It's the hand that reaches out again just to help somebody else. The faith to believe in something greater than ourselves.
It's the tear that falls in sorrow, the laughter to be found in the gifts we find they left behind. It's peace of mind, it's solid ground. Love lives on, it never dies. It's in our heart, it's in our eyes. A forever.
Oh, I love seeing the picture of those 2 kids.
Absolutely. You look pretty good for old hippie.
Oh, he did.
But then a good friend would say that to you.
That is true. And you are a good friend.
Well, tell us about some of those friends that you met. You met some people in Newtown, a minister, and
Yeah, we have a good friend who was already in the Newtown, Sandy Hook area, a woman named Ann Castaldo who runs the Tony Brown Foundation. And we had been in Newtown, I guess several months before this ever happened. We'd done workshops. And so we were a little connected with the grief counselors, the hospice, the hospital there, from some of the workshops we had done. And this woman is just an amazing lady, a dear friend of ours. And when this happened, of course, she wanted to do something and asked us to come, and we did. And we just kind of sat with the people and worked with the counselors and the people that are reaching out to the families. It was an awesome experience. But we have friends all over the country, don't we?
So one of the things I wanted to talk about today, because we're all adults and going and meeting friends, is a little different than being a kid and being in school and going back to school. And I know if Heidi were here, and if I don't do this, Heidi will be cranky with me, which is she's going to want me to talk about siblings and going back to school and having friends who don't want you to go to parties and that kind of thing. You're sad. They don't want to hang with you anymore. You know, have you guys got any thoughts about that? You had other kids, right?
Yeah, my daughter Dana, she didn't want to talk about it, and her friends didn't really want to hear about it. So she really shut down. She isolated from the grief, and is just now coming around. It's been 8.5 years. She's gone to college to take some classes about death and dying and grief, and she's just now starting to process. So it's been 8.5 years. She's making new friends, and she's doing very well.
Right. It takes a while.
It
My,
takes a long
my
time.
daughter, who was 14, it took her a while. But you know, the thing about kids that I think is really interesting, and maybe all of us, but I think a lot about kids, is that they're, and Heather has said this to me now as an adult, you're at school, you're going and you're getting your books out of the locker, and somebody comes up and says, I'm sorry to hear about your brother. And you're mad because you're trying to get your day together.
Right.
And then you walk down the hall and you pass a kid and they don't say anything about your brother, and you're mad.
Right.
Mad again.
Right.
You know, because, you know, you're supposed to, there's supposed to be time. You want to be recognized and you don't want to be recognized, and it's a really tough situation. Well, I wanted to, now, I just want to tell our audience that Alan's going to sing for us again at the end of the show. So I just want the audience to know that. And he's going to sing a little further down the road. So when you think about your friends, you'll know that a little further down the road, things change. But before that happens, I want to get my new technology here, my iPad.
I'm
Because
impressed. I'm impressed.
because I have some questions here that we received on Facebook. We have Open to Hope Facebook, and we have wonderful people coming on, and we hope you will go to Open to Hope Facebook and give us your thoughts and questions. But we've got a question here from Sue, and it's for you. And we put on that we're going to have Denise and Alan on, and our friends from Facebook know who they are. And so we asked her some questions, and here's one. And it's for you, Denise. And she says, did you ever dream about Sean and about him? And do you ever worry about missing him for 9 days? Do you ever think about that?
I do. In the beginning, I used to have dreams a lot, which gave me comfort, because I used to dream he'd come to me and say, Mom, don't be sad, I'm okay. And they were vivid, and I didn't want to wake up, and that happened a lot. I don't have that so much anymore, but asking about the 9 days missing, when it comes up to the anniversary time, it's very hard. Not that everybody's anniversary isn't hard, but for mine it lasts 9 days from the day he went missing. I remember always looking in dumpsters and crying, and it still chokes me up. And so every day for the 9 days, it just brings back all the pain.
Absolutely. Wow. Yeah, yeah. And for all of you out there who have missing kids, you know, really tough. And some of them never get found.
Right.
And our heart certainly
Yes,
goes out.
I have a lot of
to all those
friends.
kind of
My
people.
heart goes out to
Yeah, right.
people that have children missing.
Yeah. So this is for Alan. Oh, this is interesting. It's from Wendy. She wants to know if it was hard for you to sing again when Ashley died.
Well, you know, my biggest fan, I always say my biggest fan in my life was my daughter Ashley, and my harshest critic in my life was my daughter Ashley. She loved my music, and when I lived and wrote music in Nashville, she just said, boy, Dad, you're going to be a star one day, and she just believed in that. After she died, I had a very difficult time picking up a guitar, and but what I found is, after some time, is late at night I'd pull my guitar out, and everybody was in bed, and I'm not a real public crier, but I would start playing songs I used to play for her, like Brown Eyed Girl, and not songs that I had necessarily written. And I could find emotion, and I could find a place there. And after doing that for a while, I started hearing, you know, words and music, and I'm like, no, I can't do this. But in time, I started feeling like she was writing the songs with me, and she was on my shoulder, and wow, what a journey it's been. You know, I used to try to beat the doors down in the songwriting world, and now it just seems like they open. So she's my partner in writing songs, and that's what made me get back to
Alan,
it.
that's amazing because your songs are all of life. There are a few sad pieces in it, but it's like you're singing to Ashley's life now.
Yeah.
And as an audience, we get that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And
you.
tell us how you can get your albums, because I know you've got some.
Well, we're on iTunes. Spell my name right, ALAN PEDERSEN. That's the hardest
Ian,
part.
not Owen.
Yeah, there's another Alan Peterson out there, and his music's a lot different than mine.
Okay.
But you can also go to our website, Angels
Angels
Across the USA,
to
and
find
it's
it.
all available. You betcha.
Absolutely.
And thank you for
Well, great.
that.
So, oh, here's another one. This is from Fred. He says, how did Alan and Denise meet?
She was stalking me at one of my events in San Jose, and I would say I was minding my own. No. Yeah, she came to the event like she said earlier, and we met, and I heard her story. You know, she says how she started her mom's group, but really what she started doing was building beautiful baskets. I mean, a book in there, candles in there, picture frame, anything she thought would be comforting to a bereaved mom, and literally would find out about someone who'd lost a child in her town and would go deliver those baskets, asking for nothing, simply saying, if you ever want to talk, call me. And she told me her story that day, and I went, whoa. And plus, I thought she was pretty. I'm not lying to you. So that's how we met, and we were friends for a good solid year, and then it took a lot of convincing.
On whose part?
Oh, mine. I mean,
Okay.
I sent her an email. This is a true story. I know this is not a comedy show, but I sent her an email that said, I like you. Do you like me? Yeah. Check. Apparently
this is in
you've
the
heard
third
that
grade,
one. Check
right?
yes
in the
or
third
no.
grade, yes.
And
Check yes or no.
And she checked no. And it took 4 more months to convince her to put our ministries together, but what a blessing in my life.
Yeah. You know, one of the things that you've said while you've been talking, and I know it's for you too, Darcy, and that is, at Compassionate Friends, whenever we pass a candle around it, and I was on the national board, we do this all in the name of our children.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. We don't, and it's thrilling. It's not a sad thing. It's a wonderful thing to be able to celebrate their lives.
And I think that's why. We're connecting to their life. Yes, they died, but don't you dare forget that they lived. And that's what this is all about. That's exactly the message you two are taking all over the country.
Yeah, and it's really awesome. Well, here's another one that kind of gets us into something else, and it's from Bob, and he says, my sister-in-law does not get it. My daughter died, and she just does not get it. She thinks that we should be moving on.
Oh, that sister-in-law. Oh, we all got a brother-in-law or a sister-in-law or a cousin. You know, it is, my philosophy, you know, is that people tend to understand grief and loss to the level they have experienced it. And I believe that people mean well, and it's hard for us to hear what it is people mean, not what it is they say. And my advice to most people is they wouldn't want to know how to really walk this, but it's hard to train people, and I know you guys.
Okay, Alan, now we're going to be finishing up this show, and we're going to thank you, and we're going to have you sing for us now.
Thank you very much.
So thank you two guys for
Thank
being
you
on the
for
show.
having
us. Thank you so
Really
much.
Thank you
appreciate
all
it.
so much.
It's been great, and thanks for everything you're doing for everybody across the United States
you.
and across the world.
Thank you.
God bless you.
So we're
So
just going to sit and
Darcy.
enjoy this.
I know,
a little
what a
further
great
down the
show,
road, we
huh?
get our own singer.
Yeah. I like the a little further down the road, and I want to thank you for being on too, Darcy, and I want to thank our audience for watching the show today, and God bless to everyone.
I know those tears you're crying. I've been in your shoes. You feel like there's no use in trying, like there's nothing left to lose. You take one step forward, you move 2 steps back. You may not see it now, but it won't always be like that. A little farther down the road, you'll see the sun again. A little farther down the road, you look back at where you've been, and you'll see how far you've come, and you'll find the strength to go. A little farther down the road. This journey is not easy. It's a winding road filled with twists and turns, but you can make it, believe me. In time, you'll learn. A greater love comes from your deepest pain, and there's power in that love to help you rise again. A little farther down the road, you'll see the sun again. A little farther down the road, you look back at where you've been, and you'll see how far you've come, and you'll find the strength to go. A little farther down the road. It's holding on, it's bittersweet, it's healing slow, then finding peace. A little farther down the road, you'll see the sun again. A little farther down the road, you look back at where you've been, and you'll see how far you've come.
This has been Grief Relief, hosted by the mother-daughter team of Dr. Gloria and Dr. Heidi Horsley. This show's been brought to you by the Open to Hope Foundation, helping people find hope after loss. Be sure to visit Dr. Gloria and Dr. Heidi at opentohope.com, where you can listen to radio programs, watch past episodes of Grief Relief, read articles, and view books. You can also join them on Twitter and Facebook and put your events on their international calendar. Thanks for watching, and remember, others have been there and made it, and you can too.